Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Waifu Watch podcast. We're here to make sure you don't waste your Crunchyroll subscription since, man, there were some fucking bad shows this season.
Yeah, so
Solid start to a somewhat solid year, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it was funny because, the blah, 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 it's, I haven't been watching anime seasonally for that long. I have for a while, but not for that long.
Almost a year. Almost a full year now.
Yeah, almost a full year now. And so I was, I sort of went through this. I was thinking about this while I was, putting our slides together, blah, blah, blah. I was like, man, maybe this winter season isn't as bad as winter season was hyped up to be. And then I was like, oh, wait, I have to include all the shows we fucking dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, so
there's a lot of those.
So now it's the fun time of the season where we get to go through basically everything that we watch. And by everything, we do mean everything. Yes, that includes the shows that we did drop because they were bad. And there were actually, for what we normally do, normally if there's a bad show, we kind of just stick with it. Not this time around. Once we saw it, it was going bad. We just fucking dropped it like a hot sack of potatoes.
I mean, not all of them, but
not all of them, but like for a majority of them.
I give it a little bit more time, than you two usually do, because I'm a little bit more forgiving, and I want to believe. I want the bad things to be good, but sometimes you just can't polish a turd.
And speaking of turds,
oh man, we're starting off the low tiers with Handshakers. Oh my god!
I don't think we live in a world where this is controversial.
I'm just amazed because there was several times over the course of the season where I asked myself, it really couldn't have gotten worse since the last time I watched it. And yet, every single time I poke my head into the new episode out of curiosity, they manage to fucking surprise me. That takes that takes effort. Like, you had to try to be this bad. Like,
it's quite something.
Holy.
There's a difference between being badly animated and charming, like Kimono Friends was, and then just bad. Just bad, period. This is just bad, period.
So, but we have come up from the depths of the dregs of our heart. We have come up with some pros for Handshakers.
Well, for one thing, if you don't have any Ipecac laying around and you need to induce vomiting, fucking just watch this shit. Like, it'll
watch this shit in full screen HD. It'll just make you violently ill. It'll be wonderful. And pro number 2 is it is somehow managed to be literally the worst anime of 2017 already.
Not just the worst anime.
It started airing in January.
Not just the worst anime of 2017. Probably the worst anime of the decade. Like this,
honestly, yeah.
If you go back to when I said Berserk was the worst anime of the decade, well, like I said, now I have to fucking retract that statement, and I'm just surprised that I've had to do so.
I was like, it's just I mean, if it airs in winter season, is literally the worst anime of 2017 already. Which I mean, if you think about it, is kind of impressive in its own very, very sad way.
Yes.
So, which means that for all future shows that are down the road this year, we could be just like, well, one of the pros are, at least it's not Handshakers.
At least it's not Handshakers.
But those two pros really cannot outweigh the many cons that this has. Like, literally, everything is wrong about this show.
Everything is wrong with Handshakers.
Animation, art style, fucking plot, or lack thereof.
Whatever it was.
The CG
was it his sister?
Awful.
Did we ever find out if that was his sister or not?
It apparently became an idol show halfway through as well.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
It gets fucking wild, dude.
It was
from
something.
the studio that brought you K.
Yeah. Like the cons to this can be summed up is that this show is basically K Project, but take all the good parts of K Project and run them over with a car.
And replace them with more bad parts.
Oh my god. Like,
this anime, literally physically hurt us. I have never been hurt by a show before, but literally watching this made me nauseous.
I'm just flabbergasted at how bad
I think it's
this
not
show
good for me. I think it might have ruined Chains for me too. It might have ruined Chains too.
Chains, Gears, all those honestly, the worst offender, probably the worst offender out of all the things. It's not like the 2D animation, Not the character designs, not the plot, not the creepy bullshit surrounding the two main characters and their powers, but the fucking CGI is some of the
It was
worst.
so abysmal.
Some of the worst implemented CGI I have ever seen in anything ever. Shit looked like it was genuinely made in Google SketchUp. Like,
it was freaky.
and just there are a bunch of other animation errors. Some background characters were there 1 minute and then the next frame they're gone, and it stays like that for another good 2 seconds with no explanation. Just animation errors abound, plot holes abound. God, this show.
They decided to put in idol dancing, which was also very bad.
This is the prime example of when you try too hard to be different, and it ends up blowing it up in your fucking face.
Yeah.
Okay, I think one of the strengths of that K project seemed to manage to have, even though it had a lot of animation problems, was that it appealed to the Fujo base, which was, as you know, chock full of money. Chock full of money.
Yeah, the problem here is that this appeals.
It's like they tried to do. It's like they tried to go for the Love Live audience, but like not even the Love Live audience, like the shonen audience who like really mediocre shonen.
Yeah, they try for the shonen audience. They try for the Love Live audience. They try for a lot of audiences.
They tried for the waifu audience, and it was just not good. It just
ends up appealing to absolutely no one, and for that, we're just not we can't give it anything other than a 0 out of 5. This is literally one of the worst fucking pieces of shit I've ever seen in my entire life. And if
it offended my eyes.
I will honestly be surprised if Gohan's stays in business after this, because not only was this bad, it also fucking tanked in
as
Japan.
It deserved to, because it was bad.
What a fucking nightmare. Like, if there's anybody who genuinely likes this show, can I, like, just talk to you so I can understand why? And, like, also to ask if you're okay, because how can your fucking eyes function after watching all of it? Like, Jesus Christ.
Stop it. Get some help. Don't like Handshakers. It's not good. Nothing about it is good. The only good qualities we could come up with are just weirdly packaged bad qualities.
Fuck. I guess I now can comfortably say this. It really cannot get any worse than this. I may have said that with Berserk 2016. I'm reciprocating for this because I know for a fact it really cannot get worse than this.
I think quality-wise, we can't get worse, but morally, we can absolutely get worse.
We can go downhill from here morally.
We can morally.
But in terms of production value, it really can't get any fucking worse than this.
Yeah.
So thank God that this is
not good.
Life. We only
honestly,
watched, like...
even Kaguro Days, even though it had like its own issues where it was like real bad, even its production issues like didn't hurt people.
Yeah.
And the best part is,
show's so poorly animated it literally physically hurts you.
Yeah. And the best part is that we came to this conclusion after watching only fucking one episode.
And then Joe went back and watched I've watched 1.5 episodes at this point.
Because after the first episode, it just gives you all you need to know. If you're curious, watch the first episode, albeit with caution, because we're not kidding when we say it can get a little queasy. So
yeah, it will make you nauseous. It's real bad.
So
my only regret about Handshakers is that in a beautiful pass of ironic justice, Joe's fucking OBS switched to his webcam mic for our live reaction to the first episode, and therefore it sounded about as bad as the show is.
I mean, I'll resurrect it someday, but not today.
Maybe.
Right now, we got to move on to possibly the biggest disappointment of this season.
I was so excited for Idol Incident because I thought, it was gonna be real weird and interesting and kind of artsy, but it just didn't come through on it.
This is high expectations for 2 fucking reasons. Because 1, it was Mappa literally off of the heels of Yuri on Ice, so they had all the money in the fucking world to blow on this. And 2, the premise, as accordingly, was fucking ridiculous.
Bonkers.
There was. I don't know, somewhere out there is a universe where this premise is executed in the way that we hoped, and this show just is the meme show of the season. that Kimono Friends gets blown the fuck out by literal politician idols singing about reforming the tax bracket. But unfortunately, this was not that show.
No.
God.
See, the premise that I came in for was idols as government officials, but they didn't really combine the two. They just had them elected, and they didn't do anything really government-y. They just kind of were settled for being mediocre idols.
Now, granted, that is funny on its own because that's what actual politicians do. But we
loud sigh.
but we wanted to, once again, we wanted fucking idol songs about dumb policies and how they're going to improve immigration or what they're going to do about fixing the roads and stuff.
I wanted this to be the yes we can of idols.
And it was not that.
Put that proposition back where it came from, or so help me. But no, we didn't get that.
And there were moments in the show that were funny, at least in the parts that I watched, like the bungee jumping one where she just jumps off the fucking cliff and then falls into the river.
And
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. What was unfortunate is that she did not die. That was considered too dark, and they decided to not go that way. Which is bad because the cons is that, they didn't do anything with their weird premise and just went with being mediocre idols.
That's
which
what I'm
all of them
upset about. Like, God.
Yeah, and like all of them seem to be like vaguely either Idol Master or Love Live XPs. To some extent. Like they seem to be derivative.
Like
copying what's successful, but it's unfortunate because it is boring.
That's what I think is just the biggest kick in the face, is that they don't even try to be unique with it. They literally combine all the tropes of what others popular, and it just comes across as criminally fucking boring.
Mm-hmm.
And the only unique thing about it is like, oh no, it's they're actually politicians. Yeah. Okay.
They go and do community service.
Which is not the fucking same.
It's not.
Yeah.
If they wanted, you know what would be a good show? Social justice idols.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Just like otherwise idols. Incredibly serious thing plus idols is a great premise, and this was not the show for that, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's really a damn shame that we got so excited for something that ended up being such a fucking burnout. It just sucked all the air out of our enjoyment for it. So that means that the final verdict is a 0.5 out of 5. For the few moments that it was funny, it got a chuckle out of us. But because it just didn't follow through on what it promised to give us, fuck you, Mappa. Come on.
I mean, and it's not Handshakers.
Yes, it is also not Handshakers, so it cannot score.
That's a secret pro. That's a secret pro on every single item on this list besides Handshakers.
Yes.
At least it's not Handshakers.
It's implicit. Implied for every single one.
So now next up on the low tier is
this physically
How the Mighty Have
me.
Fallen.
This hurts me to
have to do. This is a fucking drop, man. I mean,
I'm so sad.
Now, we covered Nambaka last season, right? And it was one of our top shows. It was in our top tier. It was a 4 out of 5, right? Well, now we're covering this season. And
before we
dropped it.
Sorry, before we begin, I remember what the show was called that I was thinking of, the idols that were resistance, that were actual political resistance. In the anime, AKB48, that is what the idols were doing there. They were doing that in a space colony, and that was what the anime was about.
Cool.
Related, because numbers. So let's segue. Numbers, AKB48, the numbers. Let's go.
In any case, fucking, this hurts me.
It
hurts me
too.
To have to do.
Because here's the thing. When Nambaka is funny, it's funny. It's a great comedy show that I would not hesitate to recommend at all. But
I love my boys.
This season, the magic's just gone now. It's completely just vanished. And now we have to do this thing where we
gotta... It's not quite vanished. We know where it fucking went.
Yeah. Like watching this... The first season, we're just going to tell you right now, the first season is vastly superior to the second season. Not
even close. I will say though, we do have pros.
Yeah.
We do have
the first couple episodes, they are genuinely funny. So
we're back to, and we got so excited. We're like, oh, we're back to being funny. We're reestablishing the norm, and then they're going to go in and make new jokes, and it's going to be good once.
Just once.
Once upon a time.
And everything else just spiraled. That being
said, other pro, Jugo did get punched in the face that one time, and that was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that's a you pro, but
that's a me pro.
But then again, then again, this is a Fujo show to some extent.
I was saying it did its job. It appealed to me for about 10 seconds, and then the plot came back.
And that's where cons come in. Like, this is what I have a big issue with Nanbaka is when it decides to get serious. Like, it's a lot like when you're playing Smash with somebody like me who is willing to have fun at the beginning. I'm playing with items on, we're playing on non-legal stages, we're having a good time, we're having a fun time. And then this one dude who is in the lineup who wants in on the 8-player Smash starts complaining and whining, and then all of a sudden calls me out. And then I go into serious mode, turn off items, pick Palutena, and go to town and beat everybody. And now nobody's having fun.
Except for the fact that, that hypothetically, the Joe as Palutena is this show, and the dude getting beat is our happiness.
Yeah, like that is just the ultimate amount of like. Don't get me wrong.
It reads. You know what? It reads like a shitty DeviantArt webcomic. And that feels really bad to say, because that was what a lot of people were saying at the beginning of the first season. They're like, everybody looks like a fucking DeviantArt OC. And I'm like, yes, but everybody looks like a fucking DeviantArt OC. That's why it's good, is because it's universal. And then
I love my boys.
It became a shitty DeviantArt webcomic, and it sucked. It shot
Lost.jpg.
It shot the nice and happy character arcs from the first season just in the face and left them bleeding on the ground, and it just made me really sad.
Yep.
It suffered from the lost comic issue where it was funny. It was just a funny thing, but then it's like, hey, let's be
okay. Let's not reach that far, because Control Alt Delete was never funny.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like if you come with that shit, like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, no.
I mean, you're right, but also it's an apt comparison. It
is true.
Thematically.
That is true. Like,
thematically,
like. It just pains me to say this, but we actually have to create a machete order for Nanbaka, which is
all
of the first
chop
season,
out all the episodes that aren't funny.
All the first season, and then the first 2 episodes of this season, because that was like the first 2 episodes were the
there's probably some first season episodes we can cut to. I don't know. We'll come up with this. Maybe that'll be our next hot take
sometime,
tweet.
Sometime later.
The way to watch Nanbaka such that it's enjoyable.
Yeah, but until then, this second season is definitely not worth your time. If you're a fan of the first season, stay away. Like, skip far fucking away from this.
I'm kind of sad because I'll probably never get to see any Nico work because the second season was so bad.
There is merch. There's merch now.
There's merch.
The issue is that there's merch because the first season was not tremendously successful Blu-ray sales wise, but it was funny and reasonably well received among a certain demographic.
Yeah.
Like me,
cough.
People like me. And so we got a whole bunch of cute merch this season, but I couldn't feel okay buying it anymore because the second season just wasn't good.
See, yeah. I'd still get Nico merch. He's my boy.
I mean, it's out there.
No, it's not like it's completely MIA. No, it's out there.
I mean, and it'll be cheap too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm gonna be looking at it for it at conventions.
Oh yeah. Like you'll find it. You'll find it.
I mean, yeah.
My boy.
All right, so now rounding out the low tiers is surprisingly the only one of the low tiers that's actually a show.
Yeah. We didn't drop this one.
Nope.
Admittedly, we didn't drop this one mostly because Mia would be very upset at me if I did, because then I'd have the 2 good shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, Gabriel Dropout, for as boring and uninteresting as it was, it did have some of its moments.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Okay, so I think I'm just going to get right into this. The pros of Gabriel Dropout. It was cute sometimes. I still remember the Satania going out and fucking, like, having a children's movie adventure with her dog. That was cute. It does stop being, like, actually criminally offensive after the first few episodes, which is an improvement, I guess. And as we kind of mentioned, it is actually at least a show. I never really looked forward to watching Gabriel Dropout, but it never really got close to like the dread that I felt right before I dropped Nanbaka, for example. I wasn't excited. I wasn't excited for it, but I never like felt
it was never like, oh god, this.
Yeah, it was never like, oh god, I have to watch Gabriel drop out. It's like, I have to watch Gabriel drop out, I guess. The cons, it is very offensive in the beginning. There's a bunch of like, let's sexualize the small children stuff that like I take serious issue with. Just kind of in general, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. But yeah, it's offensive in the beginning. It's boring for the rest of the show. Basically, it falls into sort of this. Well, we ran out of all of the lewd jokes, so I guess we're just going to do all the standard anime jokes now. And it's like, okay. Characters don't do a lot to endear themselves. Weirdly, I really didn't like Satania at the beginning, but I ended up sort of coming around to her at the end because she was the only person that did like truly off the wall stuff, like bring a fucking gun to school and go on a children's movie adventure with her dog.
Yeah,
like
shit like that.
Shit
like that was kind of out of nowhere and got me at least vested in the show. Like when Satania fucking showed up with a gun, I was just like, holy shit, she has a gun.
Just like, I don't know. I think maybe she was one of the most tropey and obnoxious characters, and she like sort of continued to be tropey and obnoxious in a way, but she also brought a fucking gun to school.
I think we made a good comparison.
That's at least something.
I think we made a good comparison in an earlier episode where we said it was kind of like first season of Always Sunny, where like none of the characters are actually likable.
Yeah. That comparison
kind of
is probably the most apt. Just none of the characters are really likable. And
it's not as funny as Always Sunny.
Yeah, that's true. Like some of the comedy
Always
bits
Sunny
are
gets
there.
away with it because Always Sunny is fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
This is not that.
Yeah, this just it tries to reach it, but it just doesn't, and it just ends up being bland instead of interesting to watch. So yeah, a final verdict on
that being said, it was at least a show. So it does get a point.
Yes, so 1.5 out of 5. It's not good, but if you are a fan of this kind of genre of show, you'll enjoy it. So we're not.
Yeah, I mean, like it's got its demographic. Like that demographic really likes it, but it was. I mean, I'm not going to remember Gabriel Dropout in like 2 weeks. Like, It just did nothing to distinguish itself in any way. And as we've sort of noticed over the past couple of rankings, I punish boring a lot harder than most people.
Yeah.
So it was really offensive, and then it was dull.
You just like Focus with a capital F.
I do like Focus with a capital F.